So, everybody, the WWE Royal Rumble just finished up a few minutes ago, and here are my quick reactions to it. So, the show opened up with the Women's Royal Rumble, and all the women came out with a few surprises in there. Trish Stratus came out, Nikki Bella came back, and afterwards said she's not done wrestling. We saw Jordan Grace make her WWE debut, so she is officially in the company now. We saw Charlotte Flair come back, and most notably, as you saw in the thumbnail, we saw Alexa Bliss return to the WWE after 2-ish years away for maternity leave. That was really, really cool to see. Now, the Rumble itself was debatable, but the moments themselves were really, really nice. So the match was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was particularly great, but it was a solid enough Rumble with Charlotte Flair ending up with the victory in the end, finally eliminating Roxanne Perez, the Iron Woman, and new record holder for the women for longest time in the matchup. So the winner, I think, was very predictable. I correctly predicted it myself. And that part wasn't particularly crazy. Although Roxanne had a really, really nice showing, obviously being in the match for that long. Jordan Grace did pretty well for the time she was in. Nikki Bella did well. Nia Jax was in there and did exactly what you would think she does. And the match itself was a good match. Could have been better. But I think that's also an aspect of there's not really a mid card for the women. There's Chelsea, Michin, Lyra. And that's like the only women in the mid card, and maybe the Pure Fusion Collective, but that's it. Everybody else is either bottom feeder, main event. So, and even then, there were still a few big names like missing from the show. Like AJ Lee wasn't there. Jade Cargill, most notably, wasn't there. I think that was something that should have happened. But speaking of Jade Cargill, her former tag team partner in Bianca Belair did get into a little bit of an argument with Naomi. Nothing crazy, but a teeny weeny argument. So Naomi saw Jordan Grace in the ring, and they're obviously buds from TNA, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" Gave each other a big hug, and then Bianca's like, "Dude," grabs the back of Jordan's hair, like, "Her, beat her up." Naomi's like, "Oh, forgot." You know that one GIF of Drake like showing someone something on a computer, and they're like, that's exactly what Naomi did. Started beating up Jordan, and the whole match went off really without any flukes or anything. That's not like the men's. But as I said, pretty good match. Charlotte winning is less than ideal, although it's not necessarily something that is bad, just depending on where it goes. And it's probably going to be, as I said in my predictions video, her versus Tiffany at Mania. But as I said, we'll see how that goes. It was still a good match. Then we got to the WWE Tag Team title match between 2 out of 3 falls tag team title match between DIY and MCMG. This was the first, all the time before the first fall in the match was just a super like main event of SmackDown match. The whole thing just okay, whatever. The first fall was fine. The second fall was an actual finisher. And it put the game tied. DIY got the first one, MCMG got the second one, and then right before the third one, the Street Profits came in, beat up MCMG, which caused DIY to win, and then they beat up DIY because, and I didn't know this because I didn't watch SmackDown, they have a match scheduled against DIY specifically, not the tag team champions, DIY. So they made DIY retain, then beat them up so that they can still keep that shot, which is super smart. And if I'd known, I absolutely would have predicted that to happen. But either way, it was a great, very. It's not the older version of wrestling where it's like stupid things just because, I want to beat this guy up because he was mean to me. But, this like has logic behind it. So that was really, really nice. As I said, the match itself was nothing particularly crazy. Ciampa was bleeding for a lot of it, and then Johnny, I think, lost a tooth. So there was some blood going in there. But the match itself was nothing that you wouldn't see main event of SmackDown between the two teams. Wouldn't go back and rewatch it, but it was good enough as was. It was in the death slot. I don't know what you expected from it. Then we got to probably the match of the night, depending on the Royal Rumble and how I think about it over the next day or so. Since these are very fresh reactions, they may not be perfect. But anyways, we have Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes in a ladder match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. This is a match that going in, we knew was going to be brutal and somehow still exceeded expectations when it comes to that. Now, I personally predicted, I don't know if I said it on camera, but that he was going to do a package pile driver to Kevin, and that's how he was going to end up winning. Now, he did do a version of it. He didn't do that move exactly, but he did the concept of what I was talking about, which is he's about to get hit by a move. He gets out of it in that way that Cody does, where he sticks his hands out and goes like, let's go, and then hits a move of his own, which he did, and that's how he ended up winning the match. So I guess I just know Cody Rhodes matches. Nevertheless, so he was about to get hit with the package power driver, presumably onto a ladder, and then he gets out of it, kicks Kevin, and then he power bombed him onto a ladder. Now, the move itself, powerbomb onto a ladder, doesn't necessarily lend itself to the most violent thing you've seen. You've seen a powerbomb to a ladder before. It just goes between it, and then boom. But Kevin Owens landed the back of his head on the floor in between two rungs and stayed there for about 5 minutes. Just dead. And that's not necessarily the most brutal thing in the match, depending on what you think is more brutal. Because a little earlier on, Cody tried to do superplex Kevin Owens, which you can't do. And Kevin, appropriately, reversed it into a fisherman buster onto a ladder, which Cody landed on super freaking hard. And the back of Kevin's head again got whacked. So both men got brutalized. And Cody is, I don't know if it's in kayfabe or not, but I did see something about it right before I started recording this. He is dealing with many injuries. It's probably in kayfabe. But even still, great match. Cody won, by the way. So 3-0 at this point. Now, most people, I would say, were probably 3-0 in their predictions up to this point in the show. They were like, yeah, I predicted all these people to win. I'm one of them. I was 3-0 up to this point. And I was like, okay, come on. Let's see if CM Punk can win the match. Now, in this match, John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre were all in the ring, along with a bunch of other people that I didn't bother naming. AJ Styles. And Jey Uso won the match. In the moment, I was super hype about it. I was like, whoa, let's go. Jey got his moment. Yes, let's go. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I saw some chatter about it, and I was like, of all the people that could have won, you have Punk. Oh, I'm in a main event mania. You have Cena. Oh, it's my last year. Then you have all the other stories you can do with Roman and Seth and et cetera, et cetera. And Jey wins. Now, it's not like I don't like Jey winning. I do. It's great for him. He's been carrying the Raw mid-card for freaking decades now. So it's nice to see him win the Rumble, get that moment for himself. But I think him not winning would have been better for him as a character. Because that's what Jey does. He doesn't win. So, yeah, now, he got his big win. But I think if you save that until his world title win, and he instead wins the Elimination Chamber, then I think that can work. But the way they did it, it just, in my mind, screws it up. And he said he's going to go against Gunther, which means that what's Cena going to do? Because he's not going against Cody. Because Cody said an epiphany. So, in the match, the Kevin Cody match that I was talking about earlier, we saw a shade of heel Cody, because when he hit that move on Kevin, he had them heel eyes. When he took the titles down, he had them heel eyes. And realize, heel eyes. And those were heel eyes. And I think, now, I could be wrong, but this might not be a bad idea. Jey and Gunther is not the main event of night one. And you can have Punk and Seth and Drew and Roman and whoever you want in that big triple threat fatal four-way match. Main event that so that Punk can get his thing. And then it can be like a number one contenders match or something. While Cody, over the course of the next month or so, turns heel and Cena wins the Chamber and beats him at Mania. I don't think that is the craziest of all possible worlds. But that's not even reviewing the show. That's just me predicting like why Jay won and just talking about that. But I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Jay ends up winning. He eliminated John last. He was going for the AA. You can watch it on my shorts feed. Just check the shorts tab on my channel. Going for the AA. Jay reversed, pushed him off. Boom, win. Then the guy before that was Logan Paul, who eliminated AJ Styles and CM Punk. Logan Paul eliminated AJ Styles and CM Punk. I'm just going to let that sink in. He's a good-ass wrestler. I can't deny it. He's a good-ass wrestler, but Styles and Punk. Back to the Men's Rumble. There were a lot of debuts and surprises in this match. There was Carmelo Hayes. He was in there. That was nice. I know he's on SmackDown now, but it's just nice to see him there. Braun Breaker had a really nice showing. IShowSpeed was in there, just screwing around. He got this nasty cut on his leg. You can check Twitter for that. But if you want to see him getting speared, that's also on my shorts feed. Then Dominic was at the very, very end. That was funny. Number 30 was Logan, as I said. There were some people that I think were missing. I feel like we thought Zack Ryder was probably going to be in there. He wasn't in there. Joe Hendry was in there, but he was gone after like a minute tops. So I don't think it really mattered. The Men's Rumble, if you love the Bloodline, was your match of the night by a mile. If you love Jey Uso, it was your match of the night by a mile. If you're anybody else like me, it was a good Rumble that had numerous visible flaws to it that hindered my enjoyment of it. Now, watching it live, it was really fun. And, seeing who's going to come out, where's Rock? He didn't come out. But just, the live reaction was great. But I think in retrospect, it's just not, I think just the energy that I had and the vibe, the aura of the show as a whole was just making me view it differently. But then again, I can watch it again and just see what I think of it. It was an okay Rumble. So I would say the order of the matches was probably Cody and Kevin. That was really good. Women's Rumble, Men's Rumble, tag match. That's probably my order. The Women's Rumble was great. Men's was fine. Tag match was nothing you wouldn't see on SmackDown. And Cody and Kevin was really, really good. But nevertheless, those are my fast reactions to the Royal Rumble. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure to let me know down in the comments down below. Please watch any of the other videos on my channel. I mostly talk about wrestling, but I also talk about football if you're interested in that. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on this channel, as I just said. And today, I leave you with... as the number that John Cena came out to signify him being the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, number 23. Michael Jordan, height 6'6", weight 198, college, North Carolina, first round, third overall, 1984. Born 4/3/68, Brooklyn, New York. Chicago Bulls complete NBA record. MJ scored his 20,000th point and became the Bulls' all-time assist leader within a 10-day period last season. So, Michael Jordan, John Cena, two GOATs of their respective sports. Well, basketball, it's debatable, but either way, have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.